Dodge is a brand that has always pushed the boundaries of performance, design, and innovation. From its origins as a parts and vehicle supplier to the military, to its role in the muscle car era and its modern achievements in racing and technology. But beyond the icon models like the Charger, the Challenger, and the Viper, Dodge has also created some special edition cars that are rare, unique, and unforgettable. In this video, I will show you the 7 coolest special edition Dodge cars you might have forgotten about. Number 7. The Magnum nameplate was revived in 2004 as a 2005 station wagon on the Chrysler LX platform.
Dude, what do you got in that thing?
I have an amp, guitar, surfboard, ladder, and 12 2x4s.
In 2005, Dodge introduced the SRT8 version at the Los Angeles Auto Show. It was the first SRT vehicle to use the 6.1-liter Hemi V8 engine and the first station wagon to join the SRT lineup. This engine delivered 425 horsepower and 420 pound-feet of torque. On the road, it could go from 0 to 60 in 5.1 seconds and reach a top speed of 169 miles per hour. It can also complete the quarter-mile sprint in just 13.6 seconds. It can surprise unsuspecting drivers with its speed and handling while also offering practicality and space for a family of 5 and their luggage. However, the Magnum SRT8 was discontinued after the 2008 model year due to low sales and the global financial crisis. It sold only 3,704 units in the US and 1,059 units in Canada during its 4-year run. Number 6. The idea for the SRT4 came from Tom Gale, who was the executive vice president of Chrysler Product Development and Design at the time. He wanted to create a performance car that would appeal to the younger generation who grew up on tuner cars. He assembled a team of young Dodge and Chrysler engineers and designers who had first-hand experience with the Neon, and they created a concept car in just 4 months. The concept car had a 2-liter supercharged engine with 208 horses and 180 pound-feet of torque. The concept car was shown at the SEMA Show 1999 and received a positive response. However, the executive committee rejected the production proposal, citing cost and marketability issues. The team did not give up and continued to work on the car using more production-oriented parts and a 2.4-liter turbocharged engine from the PT Cruiser. Eventually, the car was approved for production in 2001, and the Dodge Neon SRT4 was launched in 2003. It had a 2.4-liter turbocharged engine, making 215 horses and 245 pound-feet of torque, mated to a 5-speed manual transmission. It only needed 5.6 seconds to sprint to 60 and had a top speed of 153 miles per hour. The SRT4 was well received by critics and customers, and it sold more than 25,000 units in 3 years. Number 5. The Dodge Spirit RT was a limited production performance sedan introduced in 1991 and discontinued in 1992. It featured a Turbo 3 engine, a 2.2-liter 4-cylinder engine with a 16-valve DOHC head designed by Lotus. The engine produced 224 horses and 217 pound-feet of torque, making it the most powerful production engine per liter from Chrysler at the time. The engine was paired with a heavy-duty 5-speed manual transmission and a sport-tuned suspension, brakes, and tires. On the road, this sleeper car could jump to 60 miles per hour in 5.8 seconds and reach a top speed of 142 miles per hour. It was faster than many of its competitors, such as the BMW M5, the Nissan 300ZX Turbo, and the Ford Taurus SO. However, the Spirit RT was unpopular among buyers who preferred more conventional or stylish cars. Only 1,208 units were sold in 1991 and 191 units in 1992. Number 4. The Dodge Dakota Sport pickup truck had a special performance edition in 1989 called the Dakota Shelby. It was also Shelby's first rear-wheel drive vehicle in many years, since he had been working on front-wheel drive Dodges since 1983. The Dakota Shelby had a powerful 5.2-liter V8 engine that replaced the original 3.9-liter V6 engine. The V8 engine had a throttle body injection and delivered 175 horsepower and 270 pound-feet of torque. The truck also featured a 4-speed automatic transmission, unique wheels and trim, and dash plaques with individual numbers. The Dakota Shelby could sprint to 60 miles per hour in 8.7 seconds and complete a quarter mile in 16.5 seconds. These speeds might seem slow today, but they were pretty impressive for a pickup truck in 1989. Only 1,500 units of the Dodge Dakota Shelby were made, with 505 in white and 995 in red. Number 3. The Lil Express truck was a Dodge D-Series pickup truck special edition that Dodge created to avoid the strict emission laws of that time. It was the fastest American-made vehicle from 0 to 100 miles per hour in 1978, as tested by Car and Driver magazine. The Lil Express truck belonged to Dodge's Adult Toys line, a collection of customized trucks and vans for performance enthusiasts. Dodge exploited a loophole in the emission regulations that let medium-duty trucks skip having catalytic converters, which made engines less powerful. The Lil Express truck had a 360 cubic inch V8 engine with 225 horses. It also had a 4-barrel carburetor, a special camshaft, and a 3.55-to-1 rear axle ratio. Dodge only sold the Lil Express truck in 1978 and 1979. They made some minor changes in the second year. Only 2,188 units were built in 1978 and 5,118 units in 1979. Number 2. The idea of putting a 440 cubic inch V8 engine in the Dart came from Norman Kraus, also known as Mr. Norm, who was a famous Dodge dealer in Chicago. He had already installed a 383 V8 in a Dart in 1967 and called it the GSS, Grand Spalding Special, after the factory said it couldn't be done. He did the same with the 440 in his Dart GSS in 1968 and built at least 50 of them to qualify for NHRA Superstock racing. The factory followed Mr. Norm's example and offered the M-Code Dart GTS 440 in 1969. The cars were shipped without engines to Hearst Campbell Inc., where the 440 engines were installed. This engine was rated at 375 horses but was limited by restrictive exhaust manifolds. The only transmission available was a 727 Torque Flight automatic. Power steering and power brakes were not offered. The Dart GTS 440 was produced for only 2 years, 1968 and 1969, and only about 640 cars were made. The Dart GTS 440 was a fast and furious car that could run mid-13-second quarter miles out of the box and high 12s with some modifications. It was so dangerous that it made a Corvair look like a Volvo, mainly because the vehicle has an uncontrollable tendency to go broadside under panic braking, particularly at high speeds. Number 1. The 330 Ramcharger was a high-performance version of the Dodge 330 sedan that was produced from 1962 to 1964. In 1963, it was powered by the 426 cubic inch maximum performance wedge engine, also known as the Max Wedge, which was developed by Chrysler for drag racing. The Max Wedge engine had a wedge-shaped combustion chamber and a cross-ram intake manifold with dual 4-barrel carburetors. The engine had 2 versions, Stage 1, which had an 11-to-1 compression ratio and 415 horsepower, and Stage 2, which had a 13.5-to-1 compression ratio and 425 horses. There were fewer than 50 units with the 426 engine produced in 1963, and most of them were ordered with a 727 Torque Flight automatic transmission, as Chrysler did not have a manual transmission that could handle the engine's power until 1964. The car was also stripped of unnecessary weight, such as sound insulation, heater, radio, and even the rear seat. It weighed about 3,400 pounds and could sprint to 60 miles per hour in around 4 seconds.